Switching to a very different topic, though. For us growing up, it was always drummed into our heads that depression or any kind of mental anxiety or worries is just something that you just need to shake off and power through. And now we see a lot of athletes, especially cricketers, and even in India right now, a lot of cricketers are speaking up about the struggles, the mental struggles that they've had to deal with, while coming up the ranks. And as an athlete yourself, were you ever besieged by doubt or insecurity? And, what is your approach to adverse circumstances that was beyond your physical control?
Look, the proclivity to doubts, or you're always going to have that. When I had my surgery, I started doubting whether I'd ever run, whether I've ever thrown a ball, whether I've ever bowled a ball. Doubts are always going to come because we're human beings.
Right.
Doubts are always going to be there because we play such a volatile sport. Volatile, I say, because in terms of where you might be, you can put in all the hard work in cricket, but if somebody doesn't like the specs you're wearing, or your hairdo, or the fact that your collar is up, or you didn't say good morning, good night, good evening, send a thank you letter, didn't tweet, retweet somebody's message, somebody takes an aversion to you.
Yep.
So sport, there is so much. So there's always going to be self-doubt, whether you're good enough, whether I'll be picked, whether I'll do well. That fear of failure, I suppose, is there in every sport, not just cricket alone. But being a team sport, being in a country where there are millions wanting to play and only a few get there, obviously you're going to have doubts. When it comes to other bits, obviously I've never faced it, thankfully. But my view on it is, I'm glad it's acceptable now. The reason being that if it was a while ago, say, as you said, 10, 20 years ago, if somebody said that this is what I'm going through, they'll say you're weak-hearted. You don't have the gumption for a fight. You won't do. You're a pussy. All those things. I'm glad it's seen as something which is a lot more serious, a lot more grave, right, and it's given the platform and the importance which it is due. Again, times have changed. We have started accepting things which should be acceptable, not seen it as something different. I'm glad that the players and their families are getting the importance which they should, because before it was not as if you're a cricketer, you have to go out there and just be there. It doesn't happen that way. You're there because your family is supporting it.
Right.
So the family is also important. So similarly, as you said, mental issues, you are going to have doubts, but something severe, something, as you said, depression, is a lot more serious. It's a lot more grave. Or a what should I say, a scenario where you don't know what the person is going through, how it comes. And some of the friendliest and the most lively people are actually hiding it because they're going through something which is a lot more sinister and a lot more serious, which we don't know.
Right.
So it's good that it's been given that importance.
Absolutely. I listened to this podcast recently where Abhinav Mukund talked about it. And he talked about the importance of taking breaks as an athlete when you're going through a struggle. And he said, in India, it's a lot more challenging because there's always that fear of, well, if I do step back, I will lose my place because there's always someone
That is also
gunning for your
there.
spot.
And also the second thing is, you're not good enough. You're weak-hearted. You don't have the will
Right.
to soldier on.
Yeah.